Hi. Now, if you have been here long enough and watched these videos and probably enjoyed most of them, you might find yourself clicking on this one and have that strange and disturbing feeling that you have already watched this. The fact is, if this is your first click, then you haven't. Your mind is just playing games on you. I'm afraid to say it's that eerie feeling that you've been here and done this before. Your brain is just telling you otherwise. It's simply that strange feeling of having already experienced the present situation.
Known as deja vu. Known as deja vu.
Alright, welcome to my channel, guys. This is episode number 18. My name is Victor, the author of the File Sonja series.
Known as deja vu. Known as deja vu.
Now, this kind of feeling was first coined as a sensation of deja vu in the year 1876 by a French philosopher called Émile Boirac. Now, this unsettling experience is what psychologists presently call deja vu. It's basically an illusion of memory whereby, despite a strong sense of recollection, the time, place, and context of the previous experiences are uncertain. Experiencing deja vu has been proven to kind of correlate with higher economic status, better educational attainment, and lower ages. People who've traveled a lot, watched films, or remember their dreams are more likely to experience deja vu than others.
Have we met?
Yeah.
Truth is far more extraordinary.
Oh, and why do I think that this is indeed relevant to the events that are undertaken in this narrative? At present, John Taylor is being flown to Berlin, having been abducted by the Shrine Tango movement under the guise of a taxi driver called Raphael Jones, for those who have been here long enough. I remember kind of leaving this event during my student years at Munich University of Applied Sciences in Germany. I'd been abducted, alright, just as John Taylor had been, except that my captors were of a different species. In fact, my abductors were aliens, extraterrestrial superhumans from a different galaxy. I recall by the time I had completed this part of John Taylor's predicament, I had to liaise with my inner self that I was going back to the drawing board and give Mr. Taylor extra sensory perception abilities just by dint of my having relieved this particular event. So there we are. Thanks to my experiencing a state of deja vu, the protagonist, who is John Taylor, is born clairvoyant. Now, allow me to proceed from where I left in the previous episode. Ladies and gentlemen, this is episode number 18 of Survive. They all smiled at that and been signed off to the devil. Now, that's matter, Mr. Taylor, he said. How about having 4 men at your disposal? I assumed it premature to respond affirmatively. I had no choice, though. The equation seemed to have been balanced to everyone's advantage. Let's try them, I said. But why do I have a feeling you know way more than you are telling me? Captain James Blunt, you obviously remember him from your training, I believe. Is that the former SIS sleeper who they dismissed in a roll-up? Yes, Mr. Taylor, said Jake. Let's just say Blunt is now our Raven. I see you have Officer 001X with you as well. Master of Pay Back. A brilliant mind on Reddit analysis and the FBI Carnival program as well. Former Camp Sompe trainee, I said. no clouding memories for me today. Officer 002X and VF2X. I said. Messrs. Chris Coons and Jerry Sparta. Sir, you might want to put that down on the white piece. You remember I was given a white piece of paper where I was supposed to write whatever I was supposed to write. I sensed urgency in this tone, so I obeyed, my pen engaged on the blank leaf. All correspondence shall be mailed to the following address: RXC 07121, Vatican City, Italy, Europe. I took his word for it. Email? I asked. FX345C at 9x2.xfiles.com. He said, 39-072-34-84-32 is the number to call. The code is 011. Subsequent code have to be deciphered in puzzles. The headquarters will email you. The notice intel had been hurried out for my consumption. The appointed season of my trial as a man of my own word couldn't be reversed, inasmuch as the arrangements had not been concluded well. Nodding assent to these admiring acquaintances was pride. I have come across this address before. Yes, you may. That's a thing of the past, replied Myers. These instructions must be confirmed as clear and understood by you before Mission D-Prof begins. His word felt like a favor of farewell wishes. Clear, I said. The man never turned in my direction anymore. Good. Now I'll proceed. I pondered momentarily. Yes, you may. The X-Files case, he said. The fact is, it's not what you think it is. Confounding anticlimax. The man was about to prove me destitute to that information. Well, he said, I'll pass first to better news. It's a classified physics formula that could win you the Nobel Prize. If that was a card, I was sure it would be an excellent one. Enough, I said. It felt as if I was under the scrutiny of a jury whose object was to soften my heart with money and set me to scatter into the weeds of confusion. You're a genius, John. You've got shit in your brains. Let's dance the X-Files way, shall we? But how? The Nobel Prize is set at US dollars 1.2 million. Mind telling me why the value of this deal is almost 5 times as much? Inquire that from Mr. Blame, said Jake. This would put me in greater danger, that I was sure. But the appeal of money had infected me with obnoxious blight that could only be cured by an appeal of similar magnitude. In such a spectacle wheel of time, it was ruinous to the mind to have entertained honor instead. We are taking a wire transfer, I suppose. Aren't we, sir? I asked. I was quick to state my terms. Honor your part of the deal and leave the rest to me, said Jake. With much inherent deliberations of my own, I was almost persuaded to demand an extra €500,000 to be handed to the sum that had been named. But I knew very well that such terms of secrets as these, if manipulated properly in the future, like good wine, would eventually double their value of my fortune.
As déjà vu. Known as déjà vu.